a camera. We're trying to stream it. But if you're going to address us, or staff, if you're going to address us, there's only a couple of these things. So either we have to run around like a game show host to bring it out there, or we got to speak up when we do this. So Luther will have it. So you could be our Vanna White today. You're upset. How diverse and talented our staff here in San Bernardino County, because they can do it all. So we're going to start off today, call this board meeting to order, and hopefully the High Desert Joshua Tree video conference sites at least has an audio stream, if not a video stream at this point. They're on the phone. And we're going to be led by invocation by First District. We're going to turn it over to Supervisor Cook. And I'll give you the mic, sir.
Hey, there's going to be fun.
Thank you very much. It's ironic. This is perhaps a historic happenstance, because it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce Pastor Winston Spencer Churchill Jr., who serves as the men's ministry pastor at the Apple Valley First Assembly of God. Originally from San Diego, Pastor Churchill has lived in the High Desert since being stationed at Fort Irwin in 2001. He and his wonderful wife Janice live in Apple Valley and celebrated their 42nd anniversary on September 6th. They have a son, a daughter, 5 grandchildren. Pastor Churchill retired from the United States Army in 2008 after 21 years of service, having seen combat in Somalia, Bosnia, and Iraq. Fun places to visit and serve, and obviously a lot of combat. A few of his awards and decorations are the Army Master Eric Tillman Wings and the Bronze Star. So it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce the pastor, and I'll turn the microphone over, and it is a historic day. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And thank you for coming and let me do this. Let's pray. Heavenly Father God, we just thank you for this day, Father. Even despite little technical difficulties around us, God, we thank you, Father, for this great nation that you've allowed us to live in. And God, for this great county that you've allowed us to live in, God. There's none other like it, Father. But God, I ask for your wisdom to be bestowed on this council today. Father, and I ask for your blessings over the leadership of this county and our nation, God. And Father, I ask for your protections and blessings on them. And I ask for all of this in the holy name of Jesus. Amen. And let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What?
I could probably talk well on that, but we're going to go to reports from County Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the case of VR et al. Versus County of San Bernardino et al., the Board of Supervisors voted 5-0 to direct outside counsel not to appeal the verdict in this case alleging excessive use of force. Thank you.
And Mr. CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to make a quick comment with the recent storms. Wanted to give a big thank you to our county fire, the leadership of Dan Muncie. Yeah, thank you, clap for that. Our Public Works Department, the leadership of Brendan Biggs. Our Office of Emergency Services under Daniel Munoz. Receiving texts and emails from them at 12 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning as they are working with their teams tirelessly out there to save life and property. Seeing the pictures of 5 to 7 feet of mud and debris, trees the size of houses on our roads, it's just amazing to have a team that is that dedicated. With all of that, we will be bringing forward soon the proposal for board consideration to proclaim a local emergency and seek the same from the state, and hopefully we can get that reciprocated by the federal government as well.
Thank you, Leonard. Kind of went out of order, we're going to go with the memorial adjournment. Start off Supervisor Fox.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I do have one memorial adjournment. Was for our former employee, Ronald Lindsay, who was the head of the fleet department. And what was special about Ron, he was very committed to the county of San Bernardino. He was the head of fleet since 2017. But I think one of the most significant items that he did this past year is the National Association of Fleet Associations recognized the top 100 fleets in the country. And what Ron was able to do with his good work and his commitment from his staff, the county of San Bernardino was the #1 rated fleet in the entire country. So he put San Bernardino County on the map. Yeah, you can give it applause. That's a great thing. So our hearts go out to the Lindsay family, his family. God bless him, and thank you for your service.
How about yourself? Sure. Some coffee? No, we'll.
Thank you, Supervisor Baca. We're going to move on to special presentations, and this is a theme for San Bernardino County this year is another #1 at the time. So at this time, the board would like to recognize the purchasing department interim director Pete Mendoza and his team for receiving the Achievement of Excellence in Procurement Award from the National Procurement Institute. And I think we're supposed to have a video, but that's probably not going to work, is it? So Pete, you want to go up and ad-lib it a little bit, or? And I'll tell a little bit about what's going on, and we'll bring it to you in a second. Purchasing supports all county departments in providing quality goods and services across vast county geography at the best value for each dollar spent for taxpayer money. The prestigious award was earned by purchasing because they demonstrated high scores of innovation, professionalism, productivity, e-procurement, and leadership. Congratulations for all your hard work and well-deserved recognition on the national stage. And we're going to bring you up here in a second, Pete. But just on a personal note, we did a lot during COVID. And normal purchases through government takes a long time. You go out to RFP, you go out to bids, and depending on the amount, you go through a lot of different. But during COVID, when you're buying masks on a day-to-day basis or PPE, this team did an outstanding job of getting this best value and making sure we have the supplies for our residents the whole time. So congratulations on you coming up. Pete and the board, and bring your team and get to say a little more what you're doing.
Good morning, all. I'd like to really thank the chair, board of supervisors, the CAO, and of course I would like to thank my wonderful team at purchasing. They've done a fantastic job, done a lot of hard work and dedication. So again, I can speak highly of this team and of this county for supporting us. Thank you all.
There's many dream jobs in the county, but being in purchasing, with a credit card for the county, I get to go buy things every day. I know my spouse and probably others would probably let that job too, but you guys do a great job representing us and keeping this best product for the dollar, and especially in high stress times. Great job there, COVID, by the way. Congratulations. Was it purchasing to pay the bill for the Okay, well now I feel like we're in the spotlight, but it looks like systems are starting to come back on, and we'll just keep going through until we get through. We do have, Madam Clerk, you want to present the agenda, any changes?
No changes today.
Okay, well, no changes today. Okay, so we have three out, well, that was good. And we're gonna start off with the consent calendar, items 2 through 74. Janice, you want to pull 2? Anybody else?
I have a comment on 73.
Is that working?
Yes.
Mike's on.
And I need to abstain on number 50.
Chairman, just a comment on 23.
Colonel, anything?
No, I'm happy.
Okay, is this working now? Okay, so we got, what else we got working? We need to take another pause and get other stuff broken down, we want to just keep going with what we got.
Chairman, the tech support has just stepped outside to check on what's working, and we'll report back in just a
Okay,
moment.
we just got mics. Okay, so we have items 2 through 74 with a few comments and one abstention. Entertain a motion on that.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Baca. Second by Supervisor Rutherford. Any public comments on 2 through 74? Yeah, 2 through 74. Okay. Yeah, do you want to comment or you want to poll it? Okay, so we'll do the comments after we hear the public comments. How's that? Garth Kazan? Anyone? Speaking on items 11, 29, and 41.
Good morning to the Honorable Board of Supervisors, Garth Benjamin Kazan Senior reporting. Item 11, are we still allowing the pharmacists to kill us? Item 29, Victim Services Program, comprehensive services to victims and witnesses. To what? Item 41, intensive probation supervision for high-risk felony offenders. May I talk to Tracy Reese, Chief Probation Officer, to ask questions about this provision? If not, item 41, Prison Industry Authority. A place where a man who claims not to be gay pays the self-proclaimed gay goods to perform indecent acts with him while he brings disease home to his wife. This is dedicated to the gay in prison named Peaches. When I first laid eyes on Peaches, I said, "Oh, Peaches, you're so ugly, you look like a man." I said, "Peaches, come over here. Now get down on your knees and open up your mouth and pray. Peaches, if you want to turn me into a punk, you got to buy me a big hump. If you want to turn me into a gay, you got to buy me a Milky Way. If AIDS is contagious, you got to buy me a Nutrageous. Before I go that far, you got to buy me a candy ball. And Peaches, if you want me to become your lover, we no longer got to go undercover. If this present society cannot rehabilitate itself, how do you expect prison to help a man to rehabilitate himself? I am the baddest law practicer of mortality ever to walk this earth. A young man approached me and asked, How do I beat parole? I said, give him a left, then give him a right, and make him drop charges.
Thank you for your comments, and I misspoken earlier, we had items 2 through 74, but I know that we want to modify item number 2, so it'll be consent items 3 through 74. Any other public comment on that? Anything from the High Desert or Joshua Tree? So we got a motion and a second. We do have a comment on number 23 from Supervisor Baca.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Just want to thank Matt Knotts, Leonard, and Luther for the hard work on making sure that the county continues to get out the American Rescue Fund Act money. And, you know, today's action is an investment in the Fontana community to help with Veterans Park in Fontana. It's a very underserved poor community, but I just wanted to publicly thank our team and our staff for continuing to keep these projects moving through the county. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. And Supervisor Brown had comments on 70 and 73.
I'd like to comment, actually, I'd like to invite Chief Muncy down to comment on item 70, and then while he's coming down to the podium, my brief comment on item 73 for the boards, just to point it out, it is a mitigation amount of $407,000 for mitigation impacts for a species, and we at the county are having to pay mitigation fees for various species, and just wanted to make sure that my peers are aware of this and to look at all options that we have available to us moving forward for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Rao. Cooperative agreements are incredibly important to our county, as you know, covering 22,000 square miles. We just simply can't do it alone. This week really reiterated that with the Radford fire near our communities of Big Bear and Converse, Radford Camp. Having this agreement with the Forest Service that allowed us to seamlessly operate is incredibly important. More importantly, our expenditures on this fire this past week was almost $400,000. That's money that the County of San Bernardino was coming out of our budget from property taxes. However, this agreement allowed us to recoup a lot of those costs with the Forest Service reimbursing the county fire. We had the floods in Oak Glen. This is another reason why these cooperative agreements are so important. We're in unified command with the city of Yucaipa, CAL FIRE, San Bernardino County, and many of our department heads. We're doing this together and in a very cooperative fashion. I want to take a moment and to thank our cooperators, CAL FIRE and U.S. Forest Service, for allowing us to have these agreements with them. They truly make us better. I also want to thank our firefighters for their hard work in mitigating these incidents. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Did a fantastic job to get all those updates on a regular basis. So we have items 3 through 74 with abstention on item 50. We had a motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none. We'll go back to item 2. Supervisor Rutherford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to amend item number 2 to have the resolution for May FAR to be a full board resolution rather than just the 2nd District. May FAR is stepping down after 26 years of service on our Behavioral Health Commission. I don't know if that's a record in the county, but I sure bet it's getting close. May is 91 years old. She was appointed to the Behavioral Health Commission in 1996 after her many years of advocacy for our local health consumers and their families. She became a champion in behavioral health after her son was diagnosed with catatonic schizophrenia in the 1980s. She helped found the local chapter of the National Alliance on Mental Illness and served on the board of directors of the California chapter of that organization. She helped initiate the San Bernardino Mental Health Court and Criminal Justice Mental Health Consensus Committee. May is often called small but mighty because she's a tiny person, but she is a huge and tenacious activist who is deserving of the recognition of this full board. And her contributions to the commission will be missed, and I look forward to presenting her the resolution on our behalf.
So you're moving it. I will second. Any more comments? Any public requests to speak on item 2? All those in favor? Aye. Congratulations, and thank you for all your public service. And that is quite an accomplishment. We're going to move on to discussion items. Item number 75, we'll open the public hearing. And this is to conduct a public hearing on a proposed ordinance relating to the San Bernardino County parking lots and electric vehicle charging station fees. This is going to be presented by Luther, as well as our microphone passer.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. I am Luther Snook. I'm the county's chief operating officer. It doesn't look like we're going to have the PowerPoint up on the screen quite yet. I know they were working on it, but getting that head shake. So I understand you have paper copies in front of you. It's my privilege to present on this. This is an exciting initiative. The county, as part of our countywide vision to provide sustainable infrastructure, we've launched a county electric vehicle charging initiative, and it's being kicked off with a pilot project that's located local to the Government Center campus here, with the goal of increasing capacity and availability of electric vehicle charging stations throughout the county. So this pilot project is just the first piece of what we hope to be many electric vehicle charging stations for use of our public as well as our employees at county facilities. This pilot project is located in what we refer to as Lot 7 at the County Government Center. This is the lot that's actually at the corner of 3rd Street and Mountain View. We completed the construction of this a little bit earlier this year. We put in 5 dual head, which means 10 actual charging, 10 vehicles could be charged in total at the same time here. Level 2 chargers, so those are the high-speed charging devices. Those are in place and ready to be activated, and so we just needed this step here to take place and for us to actually be able to do so. So the next steps here is that the board, as presented today, would be to consider approving the charging station fees, as well as the other items that are contained in the ordinance here, as well as then, once this pilot project is activated, or I'm sorry, once this ordinance is in place, we could activate the charging stations, actually physically turn them on and make them available for the public. We expect around October 27th, assuming the board approves this today.
Luther, just a quick question. I know from other boards who've already done this, the biggest, I guess, stickler point, the hardware is pretty easy, is to what to charge the rate. Because since it's not a money maker, you're supposed to charge actual cost. As we all know, every building's almost different on the way that the energy is charged depending on what time of the day. What's the solution around this? So we're just charging what our costs are for the people who are using the service.
Yeah, that's a very good question. We're held to a higher standard as a government as far as making sure we're not creating a profit on this, but we're, as you mentioned, we're covering our costs. The amount that's put forth today is 31 cents per kilowatt hour. That was determined based on our average cost of electricity from our utility, as well as for cost of maintaining the infrastructure that's in place and ensuring that that's able to be sustained. That's pretty much it. So it's not we're not making money off of this. It is based on our cost and estimated cost to recover.
And I think Janice and I both have electric vehicles, so we have probably a little more actual practical use on it. I have different rates on my charger depending on how fast it charges and what time of day it is. So a little bit about these chargers. I don't know what they say, level 2, level 3, level 4. Are they quick chargers? And do we have also a fee built into this if someone leaves their car parking all day and is charged in 20 minutes, but you need to rotate it out? What's our...
We do. So these are level 2 chargers. They're considered a fast charger. The idea is within the ordinance and what we're presenting is a 4-hour maximum charging time limit. So someone could be parked there, connected and charging for up to 4 hours, and charge the base fees. Anything beyond that 4-hour period, they would be charged on a per minute basis, a fee of 10 cents to effectively park there, occupying a spot that should be used by someone who's charging their vehicle, and they would be in excess of the 4 hours. And that would be, so it's about $6 per hour that would be charged for someone to park in that place. There's also violations or penalties that are in there for vehicles that are not electric vehicles who would park there and not charging. Those are more than 10 cents per hour.
Are these pretty standard throughout other government agencies?
Yes. And to answer your earlier question, we've looked at, a big example out there is the Tesla supercharger stations. Those, I believe, are 28 cents an hour in the off hours and 50 cents an hour. I think you can get, Tesla offers you credits and things, but if you just pull up and need to pay for that, it's 50 cents an hour in the peak. So we're looking at that, and as we expand this, we'll continue to evaluate if we need to look at some other model or amendments to the ordinance that we bring back in the future to adjust. That's part of the pilot, and the intent of it is to kind of look at what behavior
I think it's great. Just learn from experience, practical experience, I guess. could ask maybe take a look at it 6 months, a year from now, whatever, and see if we're hopefully not losing too much, and hopefully we're not making anything, and for the policies to be adjusted. That's good.
Yeah, we have a lobbyist in Sacramento and Washington and everything like that. And I know that some of the things we ask for, we're never gonna get. But I actually think that if we're very proactive on this, that this is in concert with the majority of the people that serve there. And I'm wondering whether we should ask our state legislatures to actually reimburse us or give us a stipend for encouraging something that's really part of the state agenda. I mean, we're ahead of the trend, I think. So what I'm asking is, can we get a reimbursement on this for being ahead of the tide, I guess? I don't know what phrase to use, but all they can do is say no.
There's a bunch of grant money out there, we know, there's some settlement money from VW, there's funds out there, so we can, I guess, direct the staff to go try to get as much free dollars as you can on this.
Yeah, and Colonel, to answer your question, we can definitely make that part of our both legislative approach and also on the county grant writing side, making sure that we're working with our facilities and fleet management to go after competitive grants.
Thank you.
Chairman, just a quick question. No, I think this is a great thing for the county that we're beginning to look forward and try to keep up with the demands of the technology. But a quick question in regards to our fleet. I know you mentioned, Leonard, I know that, you know, some areas are very difficult because they're remote to try to go electric. But what percentage would you say of our fleet is electric at this point? And do we have this availability for our own vehicles within the county?
I'd have to get back to you on the exact percentage. I do know that our fleet management has, in the past several years, they've been buying and exploring more and more electric type vehicles. And I also know that fleet, in conjunction with facilities management, is working on placing electric charging stations throughout the county in strategic locations since, as you mentioned, Supervisor, we are very large in our geographic span between, let's say, the San Bernardino area and Barstow and then the run out to Needles. And so your offices have been helpful in providing some input as to those locations as we have recommendations. We'll continue to work that through to make sure that they're strategically placed so that our own fleet can continue to use this emerging technology.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I had the opportunity to tour fleet management with Ron, and that's another reason why we're #1 in the country right now. He was a good forward thinker, and he was already putting in, you know, the infrastructure in for electric vehicles. He was very proud several years ago when he got his first one in the loop, and he's been going to continue it. But we also talked about the policy. It's a little easier to drive electric vehicles in the valley than it is in the distance up in Colonel Cook's and Don's area. You need a big battery for that to go to and from. But as we build the infrastructure up, hopefully we could do integrate more and more. But kudos to the fleet department for seeing ahead.
And as part of this action, I should call out that there's a capital improvement project that would be funded for $100,000 for us to actually go further and study this, looking at additional locations, studying those. We would include our fleet yards in that and making sure they have adequate infrastructure, even outlying facilities so county workers, as they're traveling, could actually stop at the location of their destination charge so they can make it back.
And Luther, another thing that we consider quite a bit on SBCTA as well, but for the county assets and our county projects, if we could forward build them, even if we don't plan to do things for now, like putting extra conduit in the ground for fiber in the future deployment. Obviously, the big expense here is bringing electrical grid power to some of these older sites. So as we do upgrades and modifications, you want to think what 30 years maybe ahead of us as far as telecommunication infrastructure needs for those facilities. And maybe even consider changing some of the county and corporate ordinances for new builds. So they're all part of that solution going forward. Being aggressive is because PVC pipe in the ground is pretty cheap when it's dirt and you do a new road, but to dig it up and put it in after the fact, it's quite expensive. And
Very
so
good point.
you gotta be thinking about the future proof of the county as we build it out. Any other questions? Good job in that. Any public comments? Madam Clerk?
No? So we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for action.
So move.
Got a motion by Supervisor Baca, Supervisor Rutherford seconds. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none. That's all the discussion items we have, I think. Yes. We're going to go to public comment. Garth, you're up. And then Matthew Clifton.
Sir?
Roger.
Glad to be before the Board of Supervisors. Real estate, the most valuable commodity on this earth. 2 consecutive elected San Bernardino County District Attorneys, Jason Anderson and Mike Ramos, have neglected monitoring the real estate fraud prosecution program funding. They have failed and refused to meet the California Government Code Section 27388 requirement, neglecting subjection to a non-existing trust fund committee. The district attorney receiving these funds for over 5 years. District Attorney Public Spokesperson Jacqueline Rodriguez, County Counsel Tom Benson, and David Ward, AEO, have not yet responded to their requirement. Another cover-up of those who have entered this county and country in a concerted effort to take over, yet our offspring are the main subject to prosecute and send to prison. Just walk into a courthouse and open your eyes. This is a letter written to Mr. Pazan regarding the citizen complaint form received on June 28, 2022. Dear Mr. Pazan, the Office of the District Attorney, Bureau of Investigation, received your written complaint on June 28, 2022. At my direction, the matter you have raised involving the conduct of a member of the Office of the District Attorney, Bureau of Investigation, has been fully investigated by Commander Eric Bremer, who I haven't heard from yet. I have reviewed the results of this investigation and have taken action I have deemed appropriate. That I haven't found out about yet. The matter is now closed. Respectfully, Eric V. Hopley, Chief Investigator, Office of the District Attorney, Bureau of Investigation. Now, how in God's name do I know what action was taken that Eric Hopley has deemed appropriate? Furthermore, if the matter is closed, I have no cause to pursue the Public Integrity Unit nor the San Bernardino Police who victimized me. You better recognize.
Thank you for your comment. Matthew Clifton, then Judy Sir B. Carter. Matthew here?
Bear with me, I'm paralyzed.
Okay, no worries.
Thank you, board meeting, our board of directors, thank you, public, thank you, internet people out there, appreciate it. I had some comments I wanted to make ahead of time, that I planned for today right away, but some things that come up real quick that I want to address. There are no free tax dollars out there. Regardless of how you believe grant funding works, there are no free tax dollars. This is we the people. California does not have an agenda. We have an agenda. We do not pass the buck to the state of California in an effort to save our own, to name rinse. We are the people. This is our agenda, not the state of California. Why I'm here today. I'm here today to discuss water quality and infrastructure. There's some things that have come to my attention, especially as I move forward into my own retirement, that deeply concern me. I moved to the city of Mentone in 2016. There were a lot of political activists in the city of Mentone that approached me at that time. They're called Mentone Matters. I am not a part of that agenda. I'm not concerned with their agenda. I am concerned with the public. That's what my job and I'll continue to do so even after my retirement. Mentone Matters brought some attention to me about the water system that's going on in Mentone. At the moment, the city of Redlands is shoestring annexing Mentone. Fine, don't care about the politics. I care about water quality. I care about us adhering to the policies that have already been mandated. We cannot look forward if we haven't addressed the issues in the rearview mirror. Excuse me. Move this. Apologies for the muffling. They brought some very, very intriguing things to my attention when they had my attention. When they knew what I did for a living, they wanted to come to you really fast. And I had people who I do not agree with their political views come to me and present their opinions. And their opinions about things that have occurred with their water while this shoestring annexing is going on in Redlands. Now, at my level, I focus on things that they don't necessarily focus on because I care about the water quality and ensuring that it's delivered to the public as it should be. I found out in that process that accidents had occurred, main lines had been broken, and the customers told me they had red water coming out of their tap.
That's time?
More, or would you like me to continue this?
We do hold everyone to the 3 minutes, but thank you for your comments today. Judy Zufikar?
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Judy Zulfikar. I know that's a hard one. It's okay. Today I'm here representing Rotary District 5330. Rotary District 5330 is made of about 60 clubs and about 2,000 Rotarians in the Riverside and the San Bernardino areas. These Rotarians are dedicated to service above self, mentoring youth, supporting the military, feeding and clothing the homeless, and many other projects in our area as well as around the world. We are part of 1.4 million Rotarians in the world and led by the first woman Rotary International president in 117 years. I'm going to say that again. First woman Rotary International president in 117 years. This is a very momentous occasion, and this vibrant international leader, Jennifer Jones, will be making a special visit to our region on October 8th. And I'm inviting all of the supervisors to a VIP reception and press conference that will be held at the Westin Mission Hills Resort in Rancho Mirage, 3 p.m. on Saturday, October 8th. I invite the community to join us the same day at our Foundation Gala, where Jennifer Jones will be our keynote speaker. If you are interested in that, please visit district5330.org and click on Foundation Gala. Thank you again for letting me come and talk about this today, and I hope to see you on October 8th.
Thank you for your comments. And we have Jane Hatt-Rubel.
Good morning, board members. I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to be like Hannah White, you know, come on down. Anyway, I'm glad the electricity is back on. I'd like to commend what's been going on out of Musqueam. We've seen a really big reduction in off-road vehicles and the motorcycles and the street racing, at least up in my part of Musqueam. And I'd like to thank Baca for doing that, and the sheriff and I've seen more presence out in our community of the highway patrol too. In fact, the other day I saw them arresting somebody. And thumbs up, but we still got to be vigilant on this, because the moment you kind of you think it's okay, they're right back out there. So thank you very much for being involved in that. Anyway, and I'd also like to thank, after the last storm on Sunday, my yard still is like a lake in the backyard. But the roads out there, especially along Cajon Boulevard, especially on the city part of it, today I was driving down there and there's all kinds of debris that when it gets flooded like that, the gravel and everything is completely, crossing the streets and people don't slow down. And I guess there was a lot of accidents this weekend. But I'd like to see more of a connection between the city and the county of San Bernardino pertaining to traffic problems like that and the road conditions. Because I know our Public Works Department does a really great job on that. But I was noticing out in Muscoy, if you live on Duffy Street or June Street, but especially Duffy, it's always been like if we get heavy rainfall, because they're north-south streets which go down slope, it's a mess out there on Duffy Street, and there's several potholes now because of the rain. So I'd like to see somebody from Public Works get in action there, because it's really kind of scary driving on that. But anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for their comments. That's all of us happening here. Do we have anything in the other two sites? No? Okay, so that's, we finished public comment. We're going to take a recess until 1:30. We're going to reconvene to conduct interviews for appointments to fill a vacancy for the assessor recorder. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for enduring our audio video challenges, and thank you for the AV team to get us up and running again. We'll see you back at 1:30.
No, I mean like as a mother. I can't take my right.
You gonna invite Billy to come out?
Well, I would just continue, like resend the feed at 1:30.